and welcome back. Today I want to talk about one of the biggest things that I've seen blocking heart-centered humans from bringing in more money in their life or their business, or being able to actually hold on to it. And that has to do with self-worth. So I'm going to dive into ways this might be showing up in your life, and also some of the root causes and things that I like to look at first when I'm doing this work for myself or when I've been doing it with clients. So unfortunately, we live in a world, and I think most of us have probably been brought up in a culture where money has been on a pedestal, and it is obviously deeply needed in the way our current economic system works. And so money kind of has this importance and this hierarchy, and oftentimes that can come with desperation, it can come with hustle and proving, and it can also come with an attachment to our identity and who we think we are and what we think we deserve. So what I've noticed over the years, and I've struggled with it myself many times, is the feeling like we need to be worthy to have more, and we need to prove that we're deserving, which can come from either getting the certifications and getting the degrees and your masters and all the accolades so that you can apply for a career with a bigger income, right? Or it can come with the feeling that you need to show up a certain way and make people proud, or be approved, be appreciated and validated first, right? And you're kind of attaching your lovability into what you believe you can manifest or what you believe you deserve with money. So what ends up happening very often is that we have an uncomfortable energy around receiving more. So you might be saying, like, I want to get a raise at my job, or I want to scale my business to this next level, or I want to just open up and receive unexpected money. I don't even care how it shows up. I just am ready for more. You might be asking for more and desiring more, but internally you don't feel worthy of more. And what this can end up doing is that then there's like this weird disconnect, and it's almost like this internal battle, right? Where you're saying you want more, but you're feeling like you don't deserve it. And there's this constant push and pull that makes it really hard to actually be the match and open up to letting it in. So one of the things that I first started with around this was the inner child healing towards money. And I will never forget, because it was one of my first quantum healing hypnosis practices for myself. And I was guiding myself through what's called a timeline repair. And you're looking back at memories from childhood where the strong imprint happened. And I was looking at, like, why do I feel so unworthy of money? And I have this, like deep shame and guilt and feeling like I don't deserve it. And as you get into this, and if you've done this work before, you can let me know your experiences and what came through for you. But it's always so powerful, because the subconscious shows us things that we might have suppressed, we might have tucked away, we might have forgotten. And so you're going through your life conscious of certain things and unconscious of many other things. So you don't even realize that, like, this whole memory or this whole thing that happened is still being held onto, and it's impacting how you see yourself now or how you view money now. So I was doing a timeline repair. I went back to childhood, and all of a sudden, boom, I was in this memory, and it came through so strongly. And it had to do with a time where I was playing very competitive sports that cost a lot of money. I wasn't super happy. I didn't really enjoy them necessarily, but that was kind of my identity growing up. And I remember this discussion though. I was sitting at the kitchen table in our family home, and my mom was sitting there, my dad was standing up, and they were talking about my mom was telling him how much it was going to cost for me to play on this specific team. And I remember him getting upset about it. And what I didn't know, obviously, as a little kid, was that he was stressed out about work, probably stressed out about finances, probably just not having a good day or whatever. And so he was very dismissive and rude and upset about it. But little Kara associated his anger with her worthiness. And so what was created in this moment was me internalizing this kind of pain or little mini trauma of like more money being spent on me for this experience is bad, and I'm not worthy of it. I don't deserve it. And now I've also created disharmony in my parents. So everything to do with the situation, I took it all as like my own fault, right? And a personal mistake or a personal error. What's so powerful about this work is that as I started to go through it and I brought in the connection of my higher self and of God and seeing this loving connection and support there, I was able to basically pull my awareness from the memory and see like the higher perspective, which was that my dad was stressed about other things. It actually didn't have to do with me not being worthy, but more just like the frustration of the situation and maybe not wanting me to be playing on that team or who knows what, right? But it helped me release the strong energetic charge that I was unworthy of money. And I forget when I had done this, but there's always powerful shifts that come after it. So I'm sure I did notice like a shift with my relationship to money. But more than even like an external manifestation, what was just so powerful was that afterwards, I then, came back into the present moment and I had a good cry and journaled about it and released a lot. And I got to see that that story doesn't have to impact me now. And this is the premise of all the work that I do, because in my personal opinion, I think 99% of the population is still living attached to old stories. And 95% of that is stuff from the subconscious that they're not aware of. But if we have the tools and the modalities to be able to uncover these things, then we can rewrite any story and any limitation that's showing up. So the story that I had been holding for years related to like not being worthy of money was shifted in an instant from this process. And then continuing to look at other childhood wounds or other moments where there's a comment about she's spending too much or she's not good with money because I liked to buy treats and like nice things and stuff. And then like the belief that created, or like the shame, and then it's bad, and then I must not be worthy, right? So then I need to prove that I deserve more money. All these different things influence and shape us as we get older. So when I have worked with tons of different clients over the years now, and like how many of them have had different experiences with money, so often it has to do with the worthiness issue. And so maybe it's been someone who grew up with not very much money and they looked at others who had more and they felt shame and sadness and like they were lesser than. And so now even as an adult, they don't feel worthy of the good things or the nice things. Or I've also worked with people who grew up very wealthy and they still didn't feel worthy because of the ways the money was distributed in their family, or the comments that were made from parents and caregivers, or even the judgments from neighbors and friends and classmates, right? Where people are jealous of the rich kid in class, and so now the rich kid feels unworthy and they feel like there's something wrong with them. So point of all of that is that there's really no single person, I don't think, who hasn't struggled with this, because unworthiness is one of the biggest core wounds. And money, since it is so important and so needed in our society, it often gets intertwined. So if you can take anything away from this share, it's to start separating your identity from money. I know as I started my own business, because I felt like a lot of people were questioning what I was doing, and people thought I was crazy and they didn't believe in it and all these different things. I felt a lot of pressure to prove that I was right and to prove that I knew what I was doing and that I was taking the right path. And I associated money as the way to show that. So I put so much importance on the financial success. And when I didn't have that, or when I'd fall into a slump and drop down for months and struggle financially, I was so crushed and I felt like useless and a waste of space and nothing to offer the world, because I had identified so strongly with money. And as you can imagine, this is probably one of the most harmful things that can happen, right? Is when we identify with anything too strongly, then if it's gone or it's taken away, we can crumble, we can lose all sense of self, and we don't know who we are, or suddenly we fall into this dark hole. And I've worked with a handful of people who have had extreme amounts of money and then lost it or invested in things that didn't pay off right away, and the pain that they fall into and the ways that they then question themselves and feel like they're unworthy and like it's their fault and now they don't deserve more, or they're stupid, or they're this, or like any of those stories can be so detrimental, so damaging. So being able to do these different practices and have these tools at your hands, right? So that you can understand how to reprogram old stories and how to also start programming in your self-worth separate from money, seeing that you're worthy as a divine child of God, and that's what matters most, and that you are receiving your provision from the Creator. So people are just the channels that it comes to you from, but the Creator is ultimately the end-all be-all provider. And the more I've handed my finances over in that way, the more miracles I've called in, and the more I've received, and the more safe and relaxed it has felt. Whereas if I feel like it has to come from my effort, my worthiness, me proving something, well, now I'm always trying to reach this marker. And if I do all the things and the money doesn't come in, then now I'm going to question myself, and I'm going to feel like I'm not good enough and I must have done something wrong, right? It's like that little child in school who didn't pass the test or got in trouble for their marks, or now they feel like they're not good enough for their parents or their teachers or whatever. And it's that level of shame that you can drop into. Whereas when we start to realize who we are is whole, who we are is worthy, who we are is good enough, money is just energy and it comes and goes. And the more we can trust it and believe that it's just here to serve and support us and to work together, but it's not a basis of how worthy we are. It's not who we are as a person or an identity, and it's just a resource. It's just something that's always in ebb and flow and is in abundant supply on this planet. And if we can just believe that we deserve to be supported and allow ourselves to open up, then we can receive in very beautiful and unexpected ways. So being able to see different things from childhood, different identifications, different ways you are maybe currently making money means something about you. I know as I've been paying off credit card debt for a while, and when I was in the heaviest parts of it, I made that mean so much about myself in really negative ways. and made it mean that I was horrible with money, that I was unworthy, that I was never going to be successful, that I was bad at what I did, even though that had nothing to do with what I was doing. But all the stories, all the narratives I created were really damaging. And so I invite you to reflect on that as well, of like, how are you associating your sense of self to your financial situation or your income or what you do or don't have? And how can you shift that so that it's more supportive for you to attract more and receive more and to just feel good about having it? And to not let the stories of guilt or shame block you from calling in more, because you struggling with money is not going to help someone else be rich either. So last tangent is like, I know there's a major imbalance of financial resources on the planet, and I know for a long time I personally just wanted none of it because I hated that there were so many people struggling with no money. But me struggling with no money didn't actually help anyone else. It just made me struggle and have no money alongside other people. Whereas what I had to shift in my belief system was that more money in my hands is actually beautiful because I will distribute that really well. And I've employed amazing people. I've been able to invest in things. I've been able to give back. I've been able to circulate it. I've been able to learn more and invest in myself, which then I've been able to share and teach and give back to others too. So like seeing all the good things that come from it and realizing that you are worthy of so much more than you probably have right now and that you're probably believing you deserve. And as you keep letting that come in, then you can continue to do more to create positive shifts on the planet. This is a huge part of my quantum healing hypnosis bundle called Overflow, which is all about rewriting your money signature and reprogramming your subconscious, shifting your energetic field to align with more money and allow you to really start to attract and receive and actually hold on to those bigger levels of money and start manifesting in amazing new ways. So that is in the description down below if you're wanting to dive in and start doing this work more seriously. And it's full of incredible quantum healing hypnosis activations and recordings where I'm taking you through this process. We're going to shift your energetic field and clear out old money blocks and allow you to really start feeling the worthiness that you are and open yourself up to call in more. So I hope this was helpful, and the link for that is down below, as I said, if you're wanting to do more regarding this. And I'm sending you tons of love. I will see you again soon, and here is to an abundant new future where you know you deserve it all and you know the world benefits with more money in your hands, because it does.